One, it's Carol Spicer joining you here today on Tuesday, September 8th, first day after Labor Day. Just doing a little follow-up to my newsletter earlier this month where I talked about September is the new January. And it seems like there's a number of people posting on social media today, whether it's on Facebook or LinkedIn or a couple other platforms, sort of feeling the same thing, that it seems like it's a good time of year to start setting some new goals. And so I thought I'd do a little follow-up to my newsletter where I share some tips on setting new goals. So I'm curious to know whether you are setting goals this time of year. And if you are, I'd appreciate if you would comment on the stream either now or later on as you're watching it. And a couple tips that I have for you to share on setting goals. And one of them is to make sure that your goals are SMART. Peter Drucker is the one that's been given credit to using the acronym SMART when setting goals. Although if you do Google it, there's some controversy whether it's actually his. But looking at setting up a SMART goal, they need to be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. And so to talk about that, you want to look at a goal that is specific. That means something that you can actually kind of measure and do the rest of the acronym with, but something like living a healthier life is a little too broad. Improving customer service, that's also not sort of specific enough. So you want to make sure that you're looking at, being able to define what that goal is. Measurable. So again, if you were to say, I'm going to live healthy, what does that look like? How do you measure that? But if you were to say, I'm going to increase my intake of fruits and vegetables, or I'm going to increase my activity level, something like that, then you can actually put a measure to that. Achievable. You always want to have a little bit of a stretch for your goal, but you don't want to be setting yourself up for any kind of failure or demotivating. So you want a goal that's achievable or attainable. I've also seen the acronym used with attainable, but also, a little bit of a stretch. So make sure that you're looking at something that works for you. Realistic. So I know for myself, when I look at my personal self-care strategies and goals that I have in place, it's not realistic for me to expect that I'm going to exercise every single day or that I'm going to meditate every single day. But it is realistic for me to look at a certain number of days in a month or in a week, and I use that as an average. So some weeks I'm better, some weeks I struggle a little, but I don't pressure myself for an unrealistic goal. And so you want to make sure that your goals are realistic. Time bound. So set yourself a time. So are you looking at, for the next month, for the next week? Are you looking at a year? Personally, I have just reviewed this weekend and I've set up a new personal goal for my wellness, and I'm going to look at 3 months. And at the end of November, after I track September, October, November, I'll see whether the goal was something that I can achieve or maybe stretch a little bit for the next 3 months. And so there's a time limit to that. So I'm looking at doing that. One of the other things that I always want to caution people on is to be kind to yourself. So there's going to be times when you don't hit your goal. There's going to be times when life just gets in the way. There's going to be times when your motivation's just not there, when you're just not feeling well. And that's okay. So be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up if you don't receive, all the motivation on the day that you need it. It's going to come around, and you never know. You'll be ready to achieve that goal again if you're looking at something a little bit more long-term. And the last point that I want to bring up when it comes to setting goals is watch your language and make sure that you're setting your goal using positive language. So it may sound kind of simple, but if you look at your goals and it's all about eliminating and reducing and removing and quitting, they're actually kind of negative words. So look at instead how you're increasing, improving, adding, growing, and just look at sort of that positive. It just puts you in a little bit of a different mindset. So rather than focusing, for instance, for me on losing weight, I focus on increasing my activity, which improves my flexibility or my strength. And so I'm always looking at that positive view of not what I'm losing, but what I'm actually gaining. And so, it's a little bit of a positive mindset when you're looking at your setting your goals. And again, always, always, always be kind to yourself. So that's what I have for you today. A little update as say as follow up to my newsletter. If you don't subscribe to my newsletters, you're more than willing or more than invited to jump onto my website, www.spicerfacilitation.ca. And on the right-hand side, you'll see a subscribe where you can sign up. I do send out a monthly newsletter on the first of the month and then occasionally an update here and there, so it's not a lot. But if you'd like to join, you're more than welcome to do so. I encourage you to continue following me on Facebook as you are. Thank you so much for joining me today. And also I'm on LinkedIn if you have any questions or concerns there. And lastly for today, I'd like to wish good luck and best wishes to all those returning to school, whether that's from kindergarten right up to grade 12, going into university, college, trade school, professional development. I wish all the best to all the students, to all the parents, caregivers, teachers, support personnel, everyone that's involved in keeping our young and not so young folks who are studying, keeping them safe and keeping them healthy. And I wish you all the very, very best. Special shout out to my two daughters who are continuing their university studies, both of them remotely. So it's like everyone else, they're shifting how they're going to be learning. And I wish them all the best as well. So take care, everybody. That's it for me today. Hope you're all well. Thanks. Bye.